So I have Mr. Richard Oseyinmi, the CEO of Coral Reef Innovation Africa. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
You are really doing a lot, and I want to ask this. How do you use innovation to drive social change?
Okay, I mean, the kind of environment we find ourselves now in 2025, this environment called the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
And for us as education technology solutions provider,
Okay.
it's important for us to embed these solutions in every environment that we work in. Education is like the number one contributor for social mobility across the world. So if you get education right, you're building a whole pipeline of talent.
Okay.
And innovation cannot exist independent of education. So for us, the labs we build, the smart labs, coding, robotics, AI labs, is a function of, it's fundamental to how we deploy innovation in different spaces. So you take our Intel AI for Youth program, for instance, for 12 to 19-year-olds, it's really teaching students to use AI to solve local problems.
Okay.
And it could be around agric, climate, finance, health, just name it. You give them the tools, they solve a local problem.
Okay.
It also prepares them to go for international competitions, to go and compete with international students across the world. So it's really fundamental to what we do.
Okay.
Education, inspiring, innovation.
Yeah, so how do your projects empower young students through the tech tools and digital learning?
I mean, the kind of world that you find yourself in now, or we find ourselves in now, you have this tension between automation versus innovation. Now, the students, if automation is getting rid of jobs, changing jobs, and so on, innovation is presenting a different type of opportunities.
Okay.
Now, the question is, how do you empower the students with the right type of skills to take advantage of the opportunities that innovation presents? And that's what we do. That's where we come in. So our focus really is on providing opportunities.
Okay.
If you take our standard curriculum now, by the time somebody's entering kindergarten, or by the time they leave in 15, 20 years, whatever, it's already, it's already expired. The kind of knowledge, maybe the 3 hours will still be fundamental, reading, writing, and arithmetic. But a lot of the curriculum that we are deploying now, especially in public school systems, may not necessarily be fit for purpose by the time they graduate. So our work is really intervening, creating the immersion spaces that students can have an opportunity to tinker with tools, tinker with all the solutions, the hardware, software, and so on, and prepare them for the opportunities that innovation presents.
Your work has to do entirely with partnership.
Absolutely.
Yes. So what role do partnerships play between industry and education?
Okay, I mean, on the panel that I sat, one of the key things I talked about was the lack of spin-outs from universities, for example.
Okay.
At a certain point in my life, I used to insure risks that came out of university spin-outs.
Okay.
So Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, Bath. Now these are spaces where professors and students came together to form companies.
Okay.
And they could be tech companies, they could be drug discovery companies, they could be all sorts. And my work was ensuring the liabilities because I used to work for a risk management firm.
Okay.
That's what I used to do. But I don't see that a lot in Africa. So the big opportunity is for industry, students, professors aligning with industries to launch spin-out companies that will then spur a lot more innovation in our environment.
Okay. Wow. So what do you want attendees, those who participate in this event, as they are leaving, what do you want them to take along?
Well, the world has changed. You've got a fourth industrial revolution. If you're in school now, is the education that you're having relevant to the future of work? Okay. Africa, as it stands, by 2035 says there will be about 1 billion Africans. Of that of that billion, you probably have about 40% that will be youth.
Youth.
Average age in Japan, Western Europe is about 47, 49. Africa is still 19. So we have a very youthful population. Now the question is, population doesn't necessarily equate to talent. Okay, so how do we invest in the skills, the abilities, the worldview of youth who will then take advantage of all these things and build an environment that is sustainable and guarantees their future in this uncertain world?
Wow. The China story, is it a story that inspires you? How they were able to turn most of their young people into...
Absolutely. Absolutely. What we haven't done well is converting every single polytechnic to universities.
Okay.
It's a concept that I struggle with. If you go to China now, compare the US and China. I think Tim Cook, the Apple CEO, was talking about the fact that if you want a certain type of programmers and so on, when it gets to the US, they'll probably fill a room.
Okay.
But if it goes to China, there are football fields of this type of talent. So technology companies don't go to China because of cheap talent, or that's an old story. And how can we replicate that kind of environment for this for Africa or Ghana? How do we build data centers? How do we build tech parks? How do we build power? All these things are areas where, how do we Africanize our context? Nearly everything is coming from Silicon Valley. How do we indigenize and tell our stories, African stories? And all? The talent is not an issue, but we got to be intentional with focus and investment to be able to do these things.
Are you worried at some of the courses we are still learning at our universities?
Absolutely,
today?
absolutely. They are not fit for purpose. I mean, any routine task that an algorithm can replace is being replaced. Any routine task. So a bot passed the New York bar in a number of hours. Another bot passed the US medical board exam a number of hours. Any routine task. So if you are studying to be a lawyer, an accountant, an auditor, and all these, what you call it, a bot has already taken your job.
Okay.
So we got to unlearn and relearn and shepherd our youth into areas around software development, AI, cybersecurity, IoT, and so on. Those are the areas where we got to shape and direct and shepherd our students to. But don't forget the arts, okay? We can't just be fixated on science, technology, engineering, and math.
But the arts.
What makes us human is art. How do you distinguish between a human and a machine?
Okay.
So creative problem solving, creativity, all the things that, what you call it, we've got to allow and be intentional about steering our students in those areas as well. How do you use AI to tell our story? For instance, the Yasanto story, or the Battle of Eyasi, and so on and so forth. These are some of the conversations that we should be having.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir, for making time for
Thank you.
this interview.
Thank you for the opportunity.